In this episode, we talk about Odisha finding a solution to the deaths caused in the state due to lightning strikes. We also talk about the possibility of Champai Soren joining another party. But first, we talk about the Lateral Entry Row. Hi, I am Niharika Nanda and you are listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. The centre had announced a fresh round of lateral entry appointments on 17th August. The UPSC issued an advertisement seeking applications for lateral recruitment to 45 bureaucratic posts for the government. Individuals having appropriate qualifications and experience from state or union territory governments, PSUs, statutory organizations, research institutes, universities, and even private sector were eligible to apply according to the advertisement. However, the policy faced criticism from the opposition, and on 20th August, the central government directed the UPSC to withdraw this advertisement. To understand what lateral entry appointments are, how they are different from the usual recruitments done by the UPSC, and why was the advertisement withdrawn, we have Indian Express's Vikas Pathak joining us. Vikas, can you tell us what are lateral entry appointments that are done by the UPSC and when were they started?
Basically, lateral entry appointments mean this, that as of now, the administrative system in India is such that you have appointments at the central level, like the central cadre is from the UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, where you have services like the IAS, the Indian Foreign Service, the IPS, Indian Revenue Service, maybe Indian Audited Account Service, Indian Postal Service, Indian Railway Traffic, Railway Account Service, Defence Account Service, Defence Estate Service, IAS, IPS, IFS, All India Services and Allied Services. So there are many IAS, and allied services that are there. So this is for appointment to people who would run the top echelons of the bureaucracy in India. At the same time, since we have a federal system, we also have state civil services, which is done by the state public service commissions. So the senior most officers come from the All India Services and Allied Services. So the governments over the time have been feeling that while we have a permanent administrative officer cadre, which is selected through a very rigorous process in the sense that clearing the civil services exams is never easy because the number of seats is very less. So often we have bright minds coming to the civil services in India. But it was also thought by governments over time that there might be some people who are domain experts. Maybe a professor, maybe an engineer who is a domain expert in a particular area, an environmental scientist. So the idea of lateral entry was that these people perhaps are more regularly in touch with that particular field in a specialized manner. So if their services are taken in the bureaucracy, it might infuse greater expertise in the bureaucracy. So that is the whole belief system.
And can you share some examples with us of leaders who were selected through lateral entry appointment?
There have been instances in the past where we have seen lateral entrants. For example, we had Dr. Manmohan Singh, who was an economist by training, and he also became a bureaucrat in that sense. He was also Finance Secretary of India. Later, of course, he came in politics and was Finance Minister and then Prime Minister of India. So there have been several such examples. The example of Montek Singh Ahluwalia, who was Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission. So there have been such examples where experts have been roped into bureaucratic positions. But that has been done generally looking at a particular expert gets noticed and is then taken on board. We also had PC Mahalanobis, who was roped in by Nehru himself. Vikram Sarabhai was roped in and was the brain behind the ISRO. So there have been people like that. So this system is quite old, but there were individual cases. One will have to make a list of the individual cases of experts who were roped in by government. What was being done now, because, in 2005, there was a view that this process should be streamlined. What now the government was trying was, they advertised 45 posts in which there were joint secretary posts, there were director posts, deputy secretary posts, and they laid down the number of years of experience that one should have, the salary that one would get. And these would be contractual appointments to be done by the UPSC to kind of advertise posts in which any expert who fitted the bill could apply. And then 45 of those posts were to be filled.
But Vikas, what is the issue around it? Why is the opposition raising concerns regarding the lateral entry appointment policy?
So far as the opposition is concerned, the moment the advertisement came out, it was the opposition, particularly Rahul Gandhi, who said that, since these are contractual posts and not via the civil services exam, The civil services exam, UPSC exam has got reservation, which is constitutionally mandated in government jobs. So at present in the UPSC exam, more than 50% reservation. You have the scheduled caste quota, you have the scheduled tribes, the OBC quota since the early 90s, and now you also have the EWS quota. So these quotas are there. So in the UPSC, supposing there are say 100 seats of the IAS to be filled, then the general category would be 50 and below. It cannot be 100. And you will have representation from across all categories as is constitutionally mandated. What Rahul Gandhi said that when you contractualize these positions and make them open to lateral appointees, there is no reservation in place there. So he claimed a smart way or a shrewd way of doing away with OBC, SC and ST quotas.
Opposition leader Akhilesh Yadav also opposed lateral entry appointments.
जो ये लैटरल एंट्री का खेल चल रहा है कोई पहली बार नहीं हो रहा है, न इसमें आरक्षण है, न इसमें संविधान की कहीं जो व्यवस्था है उसका पालन है. अपने लोगों को खुश करने के लिए लेटरल एंट्री कर रहे हैं. हो सकता है.
Congress leader Pawan Khera told the PTI that the appointments that were made through lateral entry were a failure.
When Mr. Narendra Modi implemented those recommendations, is he satisfied with the round one of lateral entry? You ask any senior bureaucrat in the government, they'll tell you that it was a flop show. It was a failure. 52 officers that got...
We just heard what the opposition leaders had to say about the lateral entry policy. So, Vikas, can you tell us, how did the BJP government respond to this criticism?
When he made that charge, initially it was Union Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal who recorded a video that was also shared by the BJP, in which he said that lateral appointments have been happening even in the days of the Congress, and he gave the example of Dr. Manmohan Singh. Then he said, but in the time of the Congress, there was no system in place. What Narendra Modi did as Prime Minister was to organize the system, which is why, posts were advertised and UPSC was given the task of filling those vacancies. He also said that, these are contractual appointments. They are not the same as the IAS, though they'll be holding some post for a while in the government. And anyone can apply, be it general, OBC, SC or ST, because these are different from the regular IAS appointment. And he also said, what is wrong if experts are, in a way brought on board? He also questioned the credentials of the Congress to raise this issue. And as the BJP has been saying over the last few months, he went back to Jawaharlal Nehru, a purported letter by Nehru to Chief Minister saying that, reservation is something that makes me uncomfortable because we need excellence in administration. Then he went back to the first backward class commission, Kaka Kalelkar commission, that became a dead letter. He said that Indira Gandhi's time, the Mandal commission report was shelved. When it was to be implemented, Rajiv Gandhi as leader of the opposition opposed OBC reservations. So he went back to all those things and said that the Congress has suddenly developed a love for the OBC, SCs and STs, which is not something that they can claim as their party legacy. So this is what the BJP did on day one. But by the next day, by maybe forenoon, we had Jitendra Singh's letter written to the UPSC chairperson saying that, this advertisement for filling 45 such posts should be cancelled. And then he gave the reason that the Prime Minister believes in social justice and justice to the SCs, STs and OBCs is very important. So we need to rethink on this. And as feelers came from the government, they were looking for a way around it. How can lateral appointments also have a provision for reservations? So that is how the government put a lid on the issue.
राहुल गांधी जी लोकसभा में नेता प्रतिपक्ष भी है, वो संवैधानिक पद पर है, बोलते समय ध्यान ही नहीं रख रहे हैं. वो कहते हैं लेटरल एंट्री के माध्यम से आरएसएस के लोगों को भर्ती किया जा रहा है. हम ये कहना चाहते हैं, डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी भी तो लेटरल एंट्री का ही पार्ट थे. 1976 में सीधा आपने फाइनेंस सेक्रेटरी कैसे बनाई थी? आपके जो प्लानिंग कमीशन के उपाध्यक्ष आलूवालिया थी, मोन्टेंग सिंह आलूवालिया, वो भी लेटरल एंट्री के पार्ट थे. तो ऐसे आपको सैकड़ों उदाहरण मिल जाएंगे. प्रधानमंत्री जी नरेंद्र मोदी जी आए तब उन्होंने कहा इसकी कोई व्यवस्था है क्या, या जिसके जी चाहे उसको ही ले लेते हैं, जैसे एनएससी.
That was Minister of Law and Justice Arjun Ram Meghwal talking about the lateral entry policy. And since we are talking about reservations, Vikas, you mentioned in a story that a BJP ally mentioned that opposition's claims with regards to reservation during the Lok Sabha election campaigns became a reason behind BJP dropping 33 seats in UP. So why was that?
Yeah, so basically, a couple of allies have openly objected to it. One is the Janata Dal United, and the other is, LJP Ramvilas of Chirag Paswan. So, of course, Chirag Paswan has a constituency that is at the core a Dalit constituency, the Dusads of Bihar. And JDU also has a strong, non-Yadav OBC constituency. So, what they have actually said, because these are social justice parties, there has been a perception that the fall of seats of the BJP in UP and also in Maharashtra. These are two states, big states in which the BJP took major dents in the Lok Sabha, bringing it 32 seats below the majority mark on its own. So the perception has been that when the BJP coined the slogan, Ab ki baar 400 par, so there was a campaign on the ground by civil society organizations and also by political parties of the opposition that the BJP wanted 400 plus to change the constitution. And changing the constitution was in a way, a veiled way of saying that they would do away with reservation. So increasingly it was said that the BJP wants to end reservation. The BJP countered it through the campaign by accusing the Congress of trying to take away the reservations of OBCs, SCs and STs and offer them to their Muslim vote bank. It's a different matter that many groups among Muslims are already in the OBCs. So this was a major poll campaign of both the alliances. So what the ally has cautioned is that we got into trouble. We had to do a lot of explaining and perhaps also take dents because reservation became an issue. We should not give an easy handle to the opposition in the name of lateral entry for the reservation debate to come up again and for accusations that the BJP and NDA are anti-reservation also to come up again.
So Vikas, what is the way forward? How do we see things moving ahead from here as far as the lateral entry appointments are concerned?
Yeah, so lateral entry will continue to breathe fire over the reservation issue, and the government may have to devise a mechanism for having some kind of reservation within those lateral contractual posts also. Having said that, if you ask me, lateral entry, to say technically that, we are bringing expertise into the administration is one thing, and then to see how much expertise is brought in is quite another. So let me put it this way. First of all, there are many bureaucrats in the IAS and the allied services even today who may have gone to say the top 5 IITs. There are several like that. There are several bureaucrats who may have studied economics, for instance, from a top university like a Delhi School of Economics or JNU. So we do have an expert pool that has the promise. The only thing is that where they are posted and what exactly they are doing is the question. Second question that comes to my mind is that the advertisement for a joint secretary said that, you need to have at least 15 years of experience and you would be paid a salary of 2.25 lakh per month gross. Now, if I ask you this question, supposing someone has passed out from IIT Delhi and was a fairly good All India ranker, having All India rank 200, 150, and has been working after that for 15 years as an engineer. The person would be around 40 years of age because the person would have got into a job at maybe 23, 24. So at 40 years of age, a top-notch engineer in the private sector with 15 years of experience, do you really believe that the person would leave the corporate job and come for a temporary contractual job in the government for 2.25 lakh per month? That is the question. So, the devil lies in the detail. In the name of expertise, maybe people who were not really top-notch in their field, but are in the corporate sector may have applied. So, the way forward is not easy because there's no one solution fits all kind of a thing here. But, okay, even if we agree with the idea that some people might be having expertise that would help the government work more efficiently, I think the way forward is to somehow fit reservation into that. Otherwise, it would be a political non-starter.
Dear listeners, before moving on to the next segment, a quick word from our sponsor, DW, Deutsche Welle. India is the country with the largest population worldwide. And with that, a strong mentality is required to stand out from the crowd and turn dreams into reality. A mindset that separates the cream from the crop in society. There are few among us who have that all-important megacity mindset. Check out DW's inspiring docu-series Megacity Mindset streaming on JioCinema. It features 5 remarkable celebrities across India's vibrant cities. In Chennai, Tamil rapper Arivu breaks boundaries with his powerful music. In Delhi, pilot and UN Women Ambassador Zoya Agarwal inspires by shattering stereotypes. Click on the link in the description and watch what sets these innovative personalities apart. Success begins in the mind. Now on with the show. Next, we talk about Odisha. In 2015, lightning strikes were declared as a state-specific disaster in Odisha. The state has now begun the plantation of 20 lakh palm trees to protect its population against injury or death due to lightning strikes. On 18th August, the State Minister for Revenue and Disaster Management, Suresh Pujari, told ANI that Odisha was among the states severely affected by lightning strikes and the plantation of palm trees would serve as a defense against them.
धीरे धीरे बढ़ रहा है। उसके साथ साथ ये भी मैं बोलना चाहूँगा कि सारा देश भर में उड़ीसा में लाइटनिंग के कारण मृत्यु ज़्यादा है। मैं आंकड़ा देख रहा था कि लगभग 300 आसपास हम जान उड़ीसा में गंवाते हैं लाइटनिंग के कारण। तो उसको रोकने के लिए हम लोग मुहिम शुरू किए हैं और उसमें पाम ट्री जो कि एक गुड कंडक्टर है उसको लगभग 20 लाख पाम ट्री लगाने का मुहिम शुरू हो गया है। फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट के माध्यम से इस काम को हम करना शुरू कर दिए हैं और स्कूल में सबसे चिंता का विषय है।
To learn why Odisha is massively prone to lightning strikes and how will palm trees help the situation, we have Indian Express's Sujit Bisoyi joining us. Sujit, how grave of a danger are lightning strikes when it comes to Odisha, and why is the state so massively prone to them?
Well, Niharika, you see, Odisha, among other central and eastern states like Bihar, Jharkhand and Madhya Pradesh, Odisha is a state which is very, very prone to lightning strikes over the past few years. If I exactly remember the date, it was in September 2023 last year, the state most notably recorded around 61,000 lightning strike in a 2-hour interval on that day, which killed at least 12 people. So from this, you can imagine the grave of the problem in Odisha. And coming to your questions, why lightning strikes are particularly concerned in Odisha? We spoke to many people, meteorologists and experts in the field, those who have done extensive research. So as you know, Odisha is an eastern coastal state and situated in a tropical zone. So experts say it's the hot and dry climate. It presents a perfect blend of conditions for lightning strikes, basically in Odisha. Besides, there are some other reports like IMD has published one report in 2021 that suggests that climate change has also its impact on lightning strikes. So, in that report, the IMD has mentioned that for every 1 degree Celsius the long-term warming, that it induced 10% increase in lightning activity. So, to reduce the lightning strikes, now the government has planned to plant around 20 lakh palm trees as a mitigation measure.
Right. And how many people have lost their lives due to lightning strikes in Odisha over the years? Do we have any official data regarding it?
The official data suggests that around 4,000 people have lost their lives to lightning strike in the last 11 years. I don't have the year-wise data, but of course I have year-wise data of the past 3 years. So in a recent reply to the State Assembly, State's Forest and Environment Minister, he has informed the Assembly that as many as 282 persons died in 21-22 due to lightning strikes, while the numbers was 297 in 22-23 and 212 in 23-24. And considering the increased number of deaths due to lightning strike, the state government in 2015 has listed lightning strike as a state-specific disaster so that sum of amount 4 lakh is being given to the families next of the kin of the victim as gratia amount.
And Sujit, is there any particular population of the state which is comparatively more vulnerable towards these lightning strikes?
Yes, Niharika, in Odisha, some districts like in northern parts, Mayurbhanj, Keonjhar, Baleshwar, Bhadrak, and in southern parts, districts like Ganjam, Koraput, Nabarangpur, and in other parts like Dhenkanal, Cuttack, Sundargarh. These are the districts where most of these lightning death cases are being reported. If you see the past data, around 96% people lost their life in rural areas, and the victims are mostly the rural population. Those who work a long hour in the open field, like farmers, agricultural laborers, and cattle grazers. These are the sections who bore the burn because they spend more time in open field. So they are the most vulnerable sections. And also, though lightning strikes happen between April to October, But most of the deaths, what data suggests that it's between June and October during the peak agriculture season. So the farmers, agricultural laborers and the cattle grazers are the victims who actually bore the brunt of lightning strikes.
And Sujit, you also talked to some experts regarding this problem. So what did they have to say about it?
We spoke to geography professor in Fakir Mohon University in Baleshwar area. His name is Monranjan Mishra. So according to him, Odisha is particularly susceptible because of its complex combination of climatic factors, which basically influence the occurrence of lightning. These we call pre-monsoon and monsoon period cyclonic activities, because Odisha is a coastal state and very, very prone to cyclones. So cyclonic activities influenced by sea temperature is also a reason for this. And the convective energy of atmosphere, basically these are the factors that causes Odisha a vulnerable state to lightning strikes actually.
Right, but how do we see planting of palm trees helping the situation exactly?
See, it's the government's plan. Basically, some Southeast Asian countries like Thailand and Malaysia have taken a palm tree plantation to reduce lightning deaths in their countries, and Odisha is now going to adopt the same formula. It's because of 2-3 basic factors. Because of their height, among other trees, they are uniquely suited to lightning. And other factors, palm trees are known as natural conductor to lightning because they contain high moisture and sap that absorb lightning actually and reduce its direct impact on the ground basically. So that is the plan. So what state government has planned, it has roped in the Forest Environment Department right now to take up around 19 lakh palm trees that will be planted around the boundaries of forest areas so that the impact will be more in the forest areas and it will not affect habitations. That is the plan, and that is being now carried out from this financial year. And we spoke to some officials in the Special Relief Commissioner's office. So according to them, they have also planned similar plans to rope in the Agriculture Department in that so that palm trees plantation can be taken up in farming areas. Because, farmers and the agriculture laborers are those who bore the brunt of this lightning strikes.
But Sujit, will planting these trees solve the entire issue or will some challenges still prevail for Odisha?
As I said, I spoke to Professor Mishra, who has done research actually. He said there is no scientific data to suggest that the palm trees will be very effective to reduce lightning death, because he also justified his claim. He said one palm tree will take at least 15 to 20 years to attain a height of around 20 feet so that it can absorb lightning. So 15-20 years deaths, you can imagine the number of deaths going by the present data. And there are also concerns that between that 15 to 20 years period, many palm trees will catch fire because of lightning strikes, which is now happening these days also. So the many palm trees will be destroyed by that process because they'll catch fire and they'll not be very effective to again absorb lightning strikes. So that is the concern basically. So those who are doing actually research, they suggest more creating awareness among the people to reduce the lightning deaths actually.
And in the end, we talk about Champai Soren and his future plans in politics. With the assembly elections around the corner, former Jharkhand Chief Minister Champai Soren said that he will not be quitting politics and that he was open to floating a new party. Shortly after he reached his ancestral village Jilingora in Saraikela Kharsavan district, according to the PTI, he said, quote, "It's a new chapter of my life. I won't quit politics as I have received lots of love and support from my followers. The chapter has closed. I may form a new outfit." Unquote. This comes days after he had announced that he was mulling 3 options, which included his retirement, starting a new party, or joining another party. On 18th August, in a post on social media platform X, Champai claimed that on 3rd July, days after Hemant Soren walked out of the prison after being granted bail by the Jharkhand High Court, all his scheduled programs were cancelled without any explanation. He wrote, quote, "When I asked about the reasons for cancellation, I was told that there is a meeting of party legislators on July 3 and I cannot attend any government programs till then." Unquote. He added, quote, "When the party's central executive meeting has not been held for years and one-sided orders are passed, then whom should I go to and tell my problems? I am counted among the senior members of this party. The rest are juniors, and the Supremo, who is senior to me, is no longer active in politics due to health. Then what option do I have? If he had been active, perhaps the situation would have been different." Unquote. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha sources said that differences had emerged within the party after it denied Champai Soren's request to make his son its candidate from the Ghatshila seat in the upcoming assembly polls. A JMM leader said that Champai is trying to build a premise to quit, and thus many baseless stories are being spread. According to the leader, Champai went to Kolkata and reportedly met with BJP leaders, and that everything will be clear if and when he joins the BJP. You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar and produced by me, Niharika Nanda. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Audio and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.